what advice would you give to someone who's considering going to Vidsummit next year? Like, yeah, let's say they're going to get their ticket. What advice would you give to them when it comes?
Come with an open mind. Honestly, come with an open mind. Come ready to um not only produce but also receive energy, so to speak. Just networking with different people, attending different events. Come ready to learn. Come with a notepad too, because it's gonna be a lot of stuff that you gonna want to write down and remember. A lot of contacts as well. Come with some contact cards ready, preferably business cards or digital contact cards, and just prepare to have fun because it was definitely a good adventure. But I could also say one thing that will make the next one even greater is if they add those vegan options as well. Because I myself am a vegan too, and so it was kind of hard to just be walking around and just like there's no healthy vegan alternative options. But overall, I definitely have fun, and I look forward to next year. I'm gonna be at next year's Bit Summit.
Save that feedback because I am going to ask that question later. But it's funny, we didn't find out we were both vegan until like the last day of the event, despite us meeting the first day.
Yes, that part, that part. That was definitely. I was like, wait, nah, you lied. Vegan for 12 years, that's dedication for sure. That makes me happy as a fellow vegan for sure, because it's not a lot of us.
Oh, we're growing in population. I'll say that.
Yeah, that's true. That's definitely true.
So coming into Vid Summit, I didn't actually have a plan until an hour before we were going to go to the meet and greet. And I was inspired by Lauren. So Yuli was here for this. So our friend asked us, how do you want to ROI this event? And I just thought, oh, I showed up. Like this is me. This is me ROIing my event to see you, to see you beautiful people. But actually, a better way to think about it is to actually have a quantifiable goal. All these things we learn in business, but it's hard to think how to apply them to our lives in that moment. And so what Lauren and I did is we actually kind of came up with a hit list per se. And so Bid Summit has this Hoover app. And so over 2,000 people are on this app, and you get to do filters for what interests you, what your shared interests are, kind of like background of who you want to meet. And so my thought process was coming from LA, like, wouldn't it be so beautiful if I met more people who I could see in person and have this energy with throughout the year. And so I filtered for people in Los Angeles, kind of jotted down some notes of who I'd like to meet, what we could talk about. And I actually came up and probably met 25% of the people. And that really inspired me to think more strategically. And I believe that I ROI'd my event. So I think it's just about planning with intention too.
Okay. And you mentioned Lauren, so I do want to shout out Lauren's company, Mongoose Media. She wanted to join, but unfortunately, she's literally on a flight right now. That's why she couldn't join. But she did do a Vid Summit review herself, and it's on her YouTube channel and Facebook. And to be honest, um, she agrees with me on a lot of points, but she takes it in a different direction that I'm not going to cover here. I think it's actually pretty valid. So definitely go check out her review because she brings up a very valid point. But she basically talks about the speakers and how, in her personal opinion, they were better last year in terms of who they got. But she does go into more detail on that. And for the podcast listeners, y'all may actually recognize that name. We did have Lauren on the podcast where we talked about her company, Mongoose Media. So we'll be sure to leave a link to that podcast in the description. It's one of our more fun and informative episodes for sure. She gave me a lot of Instagram hacks because I'm not the biggest fan of Instagram, to be honest. But she showed me a lot of techniques that you can use to really leverage it for your business.
Did
So
they work?
oh, no, go ahead, Kelly. What's on your mind?
No, my question is, did you incorporate them and did they work? Is that why you always have a song playing now on Instagram?
Well, for the record, I think I was doing that before Vidsummit last year, but she did kind of inspire me for every Sunday and Wednesday. The Side Hustle Society has like a song, and then it links back to the website or newest video or something like that. So yeah, she did inspire me in that regard. It's too bad. I don't think David's gonna be able to make it, but he's huge into astrology. But there's actually an astrology reason why I do that for Sundays and Wednesdays. I'll just say it briefly, then I'll move on. But yeah, in my natal chart in astrology, I have Aries in the second house. The second house deals with generating wealth, and the seventh house deals with partnerships. And I have Virgo and Leo in the seventh house, and I make a lot of money via partnerships. And the days that rule the signs that rule Wednesday and Sunday are Mercury and the Sun, and they actually line up. That's why those are the days I do that post, and it tends to get the most views. That's getting more into the subtle arts, so I'm not gonna dive heavy into that. Man, it sucks that David's not here. We'd have a whole conversation about that.
In terms of Vidsummit, I would say this year I probably didn't follow this advice because I was also very stressed. I've been doing some I left corporate um, for the first time in 22-ish years in October of last year, and so I've been trying to do my own thing. So in the meantime, I've been trying to just I've been trying to just do side, freelance. Like in my case, I've done finance also. So I'm doing like bookkeeping on the side until I can start doing some tech consulting. But at least the bookkeeping is a little bit more recurring. So so I started doing that, and so unfortunately I had some deadlines, some IRS deadlines during VidSummit, so I actually lost like the whole like first second day, and that kind of threw me off. And so I tried to make the best of it, but the main thing I would say is that I've always been an introvert, and so I know there's a lot of people that are hesitant to go. Yes, I just want to be behind my computer. um and so I would say, just really make it a point to try to talk to people. I did go up to a few people, but that's only because I recognized them from, I went up to Silicon Valley Girl because I've seen her. Last year I spoke to Nick Nimmin. So I went up to people that I knew just because, when are you ever going to get to talk to these people in person, right? But then just go up to other random people. You'll be surprised how what amazing relationships and friendships you can and partnerships you can run into by like just talking to random people. And the nice thing is that everybody there is so willing to talk. I actually had the people I actually met that I didn't know just came up to me. So at the very least, if you're not going to go up to people, at least have a friendly face maybe so people can approach you. Try to do that at the very least if you're scared of going up to but it is really nice. It is really nice to just talk to different people, hear what they have to say, what they're doing, and then share yours. And I feel once you get that going, you'll really get more and more comfortable, and that's when you can really make the best of VidSummit.
Oh, great advice. Um, I guess I have the answer to a puzzle now. That's why you were hitting the dance floor so hard. You had some stress to get out, huh?
No, actually I love music. So
Well, yeah, yeah.
that, yeah.
Okay, okay. And what advice would you give to someone who's thinking about going to Vid Summit next year, or someone who is going to Vid Summit? When they get there, what do you feel that they should do?
Bring a backpack. In that backpack, you have to have at least 4 things: a charger, a brick that charges when you can't find a plug. So like a little, and like not like those little things that get really heavy duty backup battery. Because if you're like me, you're going to get a lot of pictures. You're going to try to do interviews. Get you a lavalier mic that can have at least 2 people, and get ready to interview people on the spot, because I've been overthinking getting each of you on the phone to do interviews, or getting each of you on a YouTube like live stream, or doing my review. Take action immediately. And that notebook that Dejan talked about, like, I can't tell you how many pictures I'm going through and I'm like, crap, I waited so long, I forgot this person's name. And I never forget names, but I've waited so long and overthought it for so long that there's some people that just slip my memory. And if you have an iPhone, like, after you take a picture with someone, swipe up, take notes. Who is that person and what do they do? Because if you don't have a notepad, that's there for you. If you don't have a physical notepad, use your phone. Follow up immediately. Make sure that you start those conversations with the people you meet, and let's see. Like Kelly said, the ROI. What is going to be the return on your investment? You invested $1,000 in yourself to come to Vidsummit. So what are you going to turn that $1,000 into? Is it going to be 10,000? Is it going to be 100,000? Is it going to be $1 million? Like, what is the value of the connections you make? And I think that if you go and you want to watch if you want to sit in and watch the, what do you call them, the sessions when people speak, you can do that on YouTube at any time. You can pull up these things at any time. You can buy the replays afterwards, or I think they come with like your ticket.
They come with the ticket, so yeah.
Yeah, so you can get that later. When I sat down, there was only one person next to me that I could speak to at that time, and I can't speak to them during the session. So at least I can get their YouTube and subscribe to them and maybe trade contacts, but I can't go as deep. When I was in the hallways floating around, that's when all the magic was happening. So definitely be out in the hallways. Did I mention the fourth thing you'd have to have? Get your YouTube or your like Blink or Popple, whatever your digital business card is, get that QR code and put it on your screensaver so that you can easily connect with people. So you're not fumbling through your phone. Introverts, you know what I'm talking about. Oh my God, I'm like failing at life because I can't find my QR code on my phone fast enough for this person to connect with me. Just put it on your screensaver. It makes it so much easier. And business cards for the people that need that physical.
And that's my tactic. My QR code's on the business card, and some people just take a picture of the business card. I do have some advice for because what he mentioned as far as if you're heavy networking, it's going to happen eventually. You're going to forget someone's name.
Yeah.
I do have something to help me with that early on in my life. So when you're conversating with people, I make it a habit to use the person's name as much as possible during our first interaction in an organic way. So a conversation, naturally carries on, right? And then when it comes up, when you ask them a question, just use their name before you ask the question. So Malcolm, such and such. So Jenny, such and such. And once you've used it 5 to 10 times, that's usually when it clicks in your head. Okay, I've attached a face to the name, so as long as I see you, the name's gonna pop up.
Yeah. So I want to add to that. That's an excellent strategy. The other part of that is don't continue to say I'm bad with names, because you're just manifesting something on yourself that is not true. You're great with names. You're bad with recall. And the way to help you with recall is to continue to use that person's name. Now, the people that I used their name a lot or kept running into them or kept having conversations with them, those stuck. It was the people I met on a whim that I didn't get to go really deep with or repeat their names. It was just like towards the end, I was like, oh my gosh, I got to connect with more people. Those are the ones that they kind of slipped away because we didn't get as deep into conversation. So the other thing is go a little deeper with your conversations.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I know for the people that are watching right now, you got David on here. It seems random, but we finally got him on. We were talking about astrology. I messaged him because I'm like, he can get on. He can get on. We need your astrology expertise, David.
Well, first of all, I apologize for it being dark. That's number one. Listen, what's good, everyone? Hope all is well. Sending y'all so much positive energy. Yes, you already know I'm an astrologer. I didn't talk to Elijah and Greg for a minute, and Dijon. I didn't talk to you. Already know we talked the whole weekend. The Vidsummit was definitely fire. It's definitely about networking though. Like Greg and them said, Greg and Elijah, and I'm pretty sure the majority of you said as well. Like, you can rewatch the speakers later, respectfully, but you really can't replace that physical connection that you make with people. We're still kind of fresh out of COVID to a degree, right? And when we get that physical connection is really significant because, again, you connect with people at a more intimate level. So, yeah, man, I'm your astrologer. With that being said, what is good?
Well, how about we follow up on that? How about you shout out your YouTube channel? Like, what do you call it on YouTube?
My YouTube channel, again, my apologies. I'm kind of like doing multiple things at once. But my YouTube channel is Cosmo Astrology, CosmoStrology. I didn't spell it so much for people. I literally can do it. So I'm telling you, it's crazy. But yeah, I do a lot of astrology. I have my own business. It's called Applied Ascension, and I utilize astrology along with human design, astronomy, which is fixed stars. I do tarot as well, tarot card reading, and a lot of these things, numerology. I'm learning a lot of numerology as well to really help people ascend and connect with their higher selves and truly step into their purpose and what they're here for. To be completely honest, and on multiple levels. There's so many levels to this. So yeah, that's my channel. That's what I do. Also on Instagram at STLCTY03.
Nice. Yeah, I remember when we got to talking, we ended up talking about astrology for like an hour. A lot of people don't know that astrology is actually pretty big in my life. It's in the background. I don't really talk about it that much, but yeah, I have my whole natal chart memorized in both the tropical, the Vedic or Hindu astrology, and also the Bazi, the Chinese astrology. But yeah, that might be something I might start incorporating into my content to a small degree, just as a I don't know audience. Let me know what y'all think about that. If y'all want that, drop it in the comment section.
I am. You can find me on Instagram and on all socials at Sounds by Dejan. On Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Snapchat. And I'm also working on my website. That's what I want to push out first. My website as my main branding tool, and then follow up with YouTube, because with my YouTube, I want to educate. I want to educate people on audio and frequency as a whole.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think you're doing it in the right order. I think too many people start YouTube first and have to do all this other stuff. Yeah, especially with the website. All right, Kelly. So you want to shout out your YouTube channel and what's it about?
Oh, yes. This is about my YouTube channel is my love letter to books, because when I thought about something creative to do, I wanted it to inspire me to read more because it's my favorite thing to do. And I think sometimes we kind of feel guilty about doing something we love so much. So this is my way to incorporate a lot of different learning new skills like video recording, video editing, because I'm actually an accountant by trade. So this is not what I went to school for. And then just to be able to encourage and inspire me to read more and to share that love with other people.
Yeah, Yuli, how about you shout your channel out? And I know you're doing some new stuff on your channel, right? Because podcast listeners will remember that, and it was one of my most popular episodes. You've been on the podcast before where we talked about Turo.
Yes, which I still haven't seen myself because I was terrified to watch it because it was my first podcast ever. So it's good to hear you're doing good.
You did good.
Yeah, so I mean the channel it's really a tech channel. I'm a computer engineer, but I've been in the
Wait, shout it out.
business.
Like, what's the name of the channel for audio listeners?
So it's Engineer Your Life, and it's Engineer You Are Life. And yeah, if you go on now, basically what I did was I started posting videos last year. I've only done a few videos, got monetized in a few months last year. So I started doing the Turo videos because it's just a side gig I was doing. And I was like, hey, there's a lot of information I can share here. I can help people optimize their Turo business. So I did it and it did really well. And I was like, oh, I could probably keep these videos going. They could probably get me monetized. So that's what I did. And now I'm starting to finally pivot, not pivot because this will stay as a bucket. Because really it's, I want to do a bucket on helping content creators from a tech perspective. Then helping, so it's just different businesses, really all the things that I would be teaching and sharing can be applied to any business, obviously. So now I'm starting to kind of incorporate, like I've been working on an app to help manage my Turo business. So I'm starting to put some of those videos out. Also some videos about like dashboards and things like that. But really it's basically just sharing my knowledge from 20 plus years of and my engineering background to help you optimize your whatever it is, your business, your personal life, how to automate. I have like my entire life automated all my emails, all my bills, all my like everything. If I have to do something more than once, it gets automated. Like, so yeah, so it's basically, I'm still trying to narrow it down to make sure I'm just not all over the place. But I'm thinking of doing like memberships where we get on weekly calls and people come on and say, "Hey, I own this business and I'm struggling. I have these 2 employees, 3 employees that are working on these crazy reports and it takes them 3 days." It's like, well, yeah, we can get your report automated and it'll be done in a click of a button. You're just refreshing your data. So things like that. That's really what I love to do. I love to just solve complex problems. Like, what's your problem? I got it. And so hopefully um I can start kicking some videos out now that, went to Vidsummit, got all excited again.
All right, G Wiz. So, how about you shout your channel out for us?
All right, so my channel is the official G Wiz, and it is. I help creatives focus, but I'm seeing that is such a small piece of a bigger puzzle, because I've rebranded myself here recently as the fun coach, and what I want to do is to help people have fun again. There's this need to think that, sorry, my voice is going out. There's this need to think that if you're doing business, it can't be fun. And if you're, an adult, you have to be serious. And the thing I've found I'm an extrovert. I'm actually, people have called me the people whisperer, the introvert whisperer. I always have a group of introverts around me at these events, and I'm the voice for them. And I love that. My wife's an introvert. She's helped me to understand introverts better and how not to drain them. There's David. So I had an idea for a YouTube game show. I don't think there's such a thing, but I'm so excited about the concept because it would allow coaches. So the premise is, so you think you can coach, and I would have coaches paired with ideal clients, but they get the chance to prove that they can coach, and they pay to come on the show. And then there's like segments. And so they can, I don't know. I won't go into too much detail. It's just so many ideas have come from just being at Vidsummit and the things that are possible. Like if you have something that you've thought about doing and then you see someone doing something that they love on YouTube, like it just lets you know that you don't have to be like this person, or you don't have to do this thing this specific way. You can actually be you, right? It's YouTube. And imagine that. I love what you said too, Yuli. You said, I like to automate my life. And there's 3 things that'll make your life better. It's automation, delegation, and compound interest. And compound interest doesn't just deal with finance. Elijah knows this. Compound interest is just that 1% you do better every day, and it compounds over time. You get to get better over time. So my channel started with just like empowerment, music to empower people. And for some reason, it's hard for me to see the value in what I do when it's just empowerment, because I'm like, well, I can empower people for free, or I can empower people. And like, how do I set myself apart from the Tony Robbins and the Brendan Burchards and Mel Robbins and of the world, all these other motivational speakers? Well, the value is in being you, right? And being me. That's the value for all of us on this call, is like, there's no one like us. There's never going to be anyone like us. There's no one that's going to explain or break down or have the same energy as us when it comes to these things that we do, or these things that we are passionate about. And they don't have the same background or experience as we do. So it's imperative. There's a group of people in this world that have our names written backwards on their heads, and no one else can get through to them. I don't know if you've ever had this experience where your spouse or your friend or your mom or someone has told you something over and over again, and then some random stranger you met at Vidsummit says that same thing, and it all comes together. And if you go tell your spouse or your friend or your mom about this thing, they're like, that's what I said. Sometimes it just takes that person to fit the puzzle piece in. And I want to encourage anyone that's like either wanting to start a YouTube channel, or us here on this call, if you feel like you're not enough, remember that you are the only person that can get through to your audience. So.
Sup everyone, y'all just watched a clip from one of the episodes of the Side Hustler Society podcast. If you want to check out the full episode, you can click on the link in the description right now, or click on the video that's showing in the end screen. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new and hit that bell notification if you want to be notified when another episode drops, and a thumbs up on this video is very much appreciated. I'll catch you in the next one.